Good.
Perfect. So to start off with, we will be going through memberships within GMS. Now, I appreciate some of you may be already using these, but we're just going to do a quick run through just for anyone that isn't currently using memberships within GMS. So we have three different types of membership schemes. Anniversary, which is a seasonal scheme, which will start from say for the 1st of September and run through to the 1st of September. A join date membership, which will start and end on a specific date. And then the updated subscription membership, which previously was a monthly rolling membership scheme of once a month, which has now been additionally changed to have the ability to select the months. So we've got, as example, a DD every 1, 3, 6, or 12 months. There are a number of different rules that could be configured around these memberships to offer discounts, family discounts, capped at number of children, etc. And also different membership types and roles. So you can have a discount for being a coach, for example, along with some restrictions around age and so forth, playing and non-playing members, for example. These can either be paid in full, either paid in installments, and then there's a full payment history and price history around those. There is also the ability to use offline memberships, so you don't specifically need to sign up to use a GMS website or payments in order to use these memberships. So there's very simple setup. There's no contract required in this either, and it's a facility built into GMS. There's no merchant account to be set up, and it does also support the use of multiple bank accounts. So some clubs may have a bank account for their mini and junior section, and others may have a separate account for their seniors. So the funds can then be sent to the correct bank accounts. We settle to the clubs with both credit card and direct debit bi-weekly, and there is a flat 1.95% transaction fee for these payments. The only exception to that is an additional 10p charge for any payments under £10. So other than that, there's no card fees, hidden costs, or anything like that. This is an example of the finance dashboard, which gives you a brief snapshot of all the financial data at your club and GMS. So it will give you any outstanding amounts owed to the club, direct debit or card collection failures, your upcoming settlement amounts, and then also how any what payment methods have been taken, so either cash, direct debit payment, and so forth. All of these bits of the screen can all be drilled into. So, for example, I could drill into this outstanding amounts, and it will then produce a list of data for anyone that has an outstanding amount at my club. In terms of the membership schemes, this is a typical membership setup where this is where you create the schemes and can also edit those as well. So this is an example of a membership scheme. So you've got a bit of key information around the name of the scheme, a short description. This description is also displayed online, so some clubs like to include a bit of useful information so that when their members are going to purchase that scheme, they can see that there. We've also got a pre-purchase window. So this is for the next year, season. It will you can set the date to how far in advance they can then purchase their scheme for the following season. You've then got a scheme type. So that goes back to the three different schemes that I mentioned at the start: anniversary, join date, or subscription. The type being junior for this example, and category playing. We've then got the scheme start, so the day the actual membership starts, and then the scheme application start, which is really only used for the first time using the membership, as this is when they can purchase that membership from. You've got status of the membership, so whether it's active, inactive. You obviously, as the years go on, you may want to use no longer use previous schemes and make them inactive so they're not available. You also then have the available for online purchase. This is a key one here. If you've got certain schemes that you don't want to be displayed online and you want to keep in-house, then that can be set to no and they won't display online. You've then got duration, and for example, we've got here years and units. We do facilitate having a joining fee. Some clubs do have that option as well. And then you have the price down the bottom. So you can, this is the current price of that scheme. And you can then add new schemes, add new prices as of when you need. So specifically on the new subscription scheme, we now have the option of which is the number of months is covered by this scheme. So here we have set up months 1, 3, 6, and 12. And what that means is on the 12th month, a new DD will be created, and then that will then automatically purchase the individual that scheme again, saving them having to go in and purchase the membership again. These are configurable, so we have had some feedback from some clubs that a 8-month scheme would be handy in terms of from when the rugby season actually runs. This is then just an example of a club's GMS dashboard and what appears for a member looking at purchasing a membership at the club. You've got a list of the available memberships to that individual. And also, like we said earlier, about having multiple bank accounts, some clubs have a separate bank account for products, which you can see on the right-hand side has the membership add-ons. So for example, this club's membership fees will go to one bank account and the add-ons will go to a separate bank account. This is an example of the memberships published on a GMS website. So this club has created their schemes, published them online for members to view and then purchase as well. In finance, we also have website setup and also the bank details. So this is where, if you are not currently using memberships for GMS, you can go into the finance section within your club's GMS, enter your club's bank details, and accept the terms and conditions, which will then allow you to take online payments and also create a free GMS website like the one we saw the last slide. This is just an example of the membership purchase on a mobile. So you go through, you select your club that you're linked to, you select to buy membership, you accept any waivers that the club has, and then fill out your details. Something that will be coming in the near future will be the ability of Apple and Google Pay. So to help sort of streamline this process, rather than individuals inputting their card details every time, they'll be able to use Apple or Google Pay, which would then have the stored details in their phone, which will then take payment for the membership. That then brings you through to the membership dashboard, whereby this gives you a quick snapshot of all the key information around your members. So how many members you have in each scheme, what current status they're in, are there any lapsed members, are there any balances outstanding, and again you can drill through all of these and then start to manipulate and use that data as you need. This example of the membership list, so it gives me full membership list at my club. It also allows me to start building up queries and filters. So if I want to look at all members between a certain age range, if I want to look at all members who have an outstanding balance and so forth, I can do all of that within this grid here. Finally, then coming to settlements. So this is a breakdown of all the settlements that we settle to your club, as I said, bi-weekly. And you can drill through all of those to the batches, which will then give you a breakdown of all the individuals that have paid, along with the amounts and so forth. Everything within our tables can be exported. So should you need to manipulate the data or look at it in any other way, you can export that and do so. And this is just an example of that there. One new feature that we now have in place is the digital membership card. So once your members purchase a membership through GMS, they will now have the ability to have a digital membership card. And so long as that is purchased through GMS, they will also be able to pass that to their Google and Apple wallet, which is the first two screens, first two images, and then the final is an example of a digital membership card in a wallet. So some clubs are currently using this for point of sale, which is an additional feature within GMS. So how this works is they will use their digital membership card and preload money onto their card, for example, and then use that to purchase products at the bar. And because they are using memberships, obviously in GMS also, they then are able to offer discounts to their members and so forth. A key thing to note on that is that obviously if an individual doesn't pay for their membership or the membership goes lapsed, they then lose the privilege of having that discount on the bar, which I'm sure a lot of the clubs will that are currently using this will vouch is very helpful for keeping membership on top of membership subs, and also offering benefits to members for being members of the club. There is also then some reporting alongside this. There's a whole list of additional reports that become available. End of day sales reports, breakdowns of specific products and so forth, along with stock control and so forth available to clubs. Going briefly into multi-bank accounts again, similarly to the using memberships for subs and add-ons, you can also set up a commercial side, which can then have all your bar products be settled to a separate bank account as well. So here we have an example of a club with 4 bank accounts created. These bank accounts are then assigned to what we call budget codes in the system. So we'll have a list of budget codes that will be linked to a certain bank account, and any product with that budget code will then settle to that specific bank account. Here's the detail of creating a new budget code. And here you can see I select which account I would like that to go into. So all my membership schemes may be a budget code and they may go to a certain bank account. From here, we then set up categories, which again identifies where everything should be settled and everything should be placed to. When you're then creating new products, you add that budget code to the product along with also the same as membership schemes, and then that way everything is settled correctly. When you look at the settlements, there will be an account name against the settlement if you are using multi-bank accounts. So you can also see, and you can also look at, say, for example, if you only want to look at the settlements to a specific account, you can filter on those as well. Along with the exports that I mentioned earlier, that will also then show in the data that is exported from the system. So that then brings us to any questions that anyone may have. Sure, I think we want to unmute the. Okay. If you just give us a second, we'll just unmute everyone's mics, and that way anyone who does have any questions. Yeah, we've got the name as Rugby Admin. You're currently on mute, by the way. Just
there we go. Right. Yes. Thanks for that. And to be honest, this has been waiting for quite some number of years. I put a question on which seemed to be a bit confused to the person answering. What we got at the moment is where we've got things set to anniversary, it's grayed out. Rather than have to try and duplicate all the rules and everything with it, is a possibility that we can change that membership scheme to direct debit, or we can clone it to another one. Is there an easy way of doing that? I mean, bearing in mind that I'm actually a GMS trainer, as Rory knows, and so I'm going to get asked it at some point or another, and B, I need to do it for my own club as well.
Yeah, I mean, we will be working with clubs in terms of helping you set up these for the coming season. So if there are any sort of questions around sort of how to and so forth, you will be able to contact us directly, and we will assist with the setup. I'm not entirely sure if that answers off the top of my head, but that is one we will come back to, or if Rory wants to give a bit more info to.
There should be the ability to copy the scheme, which should clone it. So
yeah.
If that's not what you mean, you can.
That is what I mean. Yeah.
So that should be possible. I think we can get support to send you a message tomorrow and try and follow up on that.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, Rory, I've been working with Lauren for many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are well known.
I'm usually the one that finds the awkward problems to solve. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Just on that as well, guys. So just to be clear, we will send out guides for the new membership subscriptions updates. We'll send up a follow-up to everyone on this call so that you have those. But if there are any questions or additional questions from there, then we'll follow up with you directly. Stephen?
Hello there. Have you considered actually going round to maybe some clubs and giving on-site assistance? But I don't mean going to actually every single club, but go to a region and invite 10 or 15 clubs in and help them resolve any of their problems that they seem to be having.
I think in short, Stephen, yeah, we would obviously be open to that. Of course, we would. As you say, I think if we can structure something that would be useful to everybody in terms of we can get something regional and sort of a concise list of an understanding of what areas need to be covered, etc., to make sure it's useful for everybody. Of course, yeah, we can certainly try and arrange something like that.
We might be stepping on the toes of the GMS trainers a little.
No,
yeah,
we don't teach memberships. We come to you for that.
Okay, that's fine then.
I didn't know there was GMS trainers out there, to be honest with you.
Oh yes, there's 6 of us, and you can submit a request, and one of us will get assigned to teach you whatever it is that you need to be taught.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Stephen, if you want to follow up after this, I don't know, for example, if you're speaking of anything specific that there's a cluster of clubs in your area that might do with a bit more of a handhold, etc., then we'll get in touch after this potentially and see if we can make something work for you.
Yeah, no, it's just that I've been doing membership for several years, and I'm now about to hand it over, hopefully, to somebody else this year. And I don't really want to be the one who's constantly getting phoned up by them for every peculiarity that they find with GMS. And it'd be nice actually if someone came along and showed them how to do it really, because everything I know is basically self-taught.
Stephen, I put the link in the chat. If you want to pass that around your club, and I'll get somebody.
Oh, right, Rugby, I found it. Yes, thank you.
Yep. On that training sort of idea, would an idea of going to a CB and saying, well, what if we came to your area and ran this at a convenient place? Would you set it up and we'll come in and then we could invite clubs in as a CB? Would that work? Do you think?
Yeah, we'd have to coordinate that with the RFU as well.
Yeah,
but yes, something along those lines.
Yeah, it'd be good to receive hints and tips and how-tos, and find out what people, what problems people are having. And like I say, some people might know how to do it, but if we all got together and like a group of 15, 20 in a club, that'd help us all out.
Yeah, there's also the I know that a lot of people use the GMS help page on Facebook, and quite a lot of people put some good stuff in there in terms of how to and able to sort of talk to each other across clubs. That's one sort of interim way, I guess, for now, that might help. Is there anyone else with any questions?
That last one was a good one. When does this go live?
What are we referring to?
The change, the addition of the DDs. I think you always just cop something in. So
yeah. It'll be ready to go for the new season. It's currently in place. We just haven't expressed about it because we don't want loads of people worrying about some changes before. So that's why we wanted to address clubs and also to have the guide to send you. So yes, that's ready to go.
It's just that obviously people are starting to have AGMs now, so changing their membership fees. So when they're updating, they might want to add in subscription.
Yeah,
debit.
absolutely. I think that was our sort of aim on this call, to try and
Yeah.
get it out to as many clubs as possible, to make them aware. Claire?
Yeah, is that the case for Apple Pay and Google Pay as well? Is that going to be ready for the new season?
Yeah, and at the moment that's currently being tested. We don't have a confirmed go live date. We're working with the RFU on that, but it's weeks rather than months type scenario. So based on, depending on when the agreed release date is in the release schedule for GMS, but it'll definitely be there before the start of the season. Yes.
That's soon.
Sorry, I'm thinking of everything tonight. We've been using monthly direct debits last couple of years, which works fairly well. One of the problems we did have is like when the prices do increase. So we put a price increase as of the 1st of September, but GMS starts processing the direct debits a couple of days beforehand. So it actually took the previous month's, it took August price basically and charged everybody in September the old price. Has that niggle been resolved?
I personally wasn't aware of that myself, but I'll look into that for you and follow up on that one.
Okay, because like I say, if we need to then say change the price to actually start on the 26th of August or something, or the 26th of the previous month, we just need to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, I mean, that sounds like a straight up bug, and we should just address that. We can check that. If that is happening, then we can resolve that quite easily. So I certainly don't want you trying to, change dates to allow for it.
Yeah, it
just on that point,
it was raised previously.
Sorry, this is from my day job, if you like. It's probably to do with the way that the direct debit things are structured and sent out, because certainly with a number of the providers, you have to do it at least 5 days before the date is taken. So if that's the price in the system at that point, that's what it will take.
Yeah, but so that you've got to adhere to the direct debit guarantee. So that in addition to there being a delay before you can actually process that payment, because you're going to put it through and it won't be taken straight away.
Yeah, you've
also got to inform the individuals of the change, so they've got to be aware of it ahead of that change. So, but that should all be accounted for in the price change. So we can look at that, make sure that it's all following the correct rules, and we haven't got an issue there that we're just treating it like it's a change on that date and picking up the price ahead of time. So that shouldn't be a big issue. That just sounds like there is a bug that should be looked at.
Any more for any more? I see there's quite a bit of a buzz in the chat. It looks like we've answered most of the questions, but
I think I kept up to speed with them. It's been a struggle.
Yeah, I think there's probably going to be sort of questions later after people have digested the presentation when it's been sent out. So we'll put out on YouTube. So we'll
key takeaways for us today really were just to make everyone aware, or get it out there effectively, about the annual auto renewal and that subscription change, because it is something that clubs have been asking for a while. And also the coming Apple and Google Pay should just make things easier for people that are renewing if you're doing it via card at the start of the season or towards the start of the season. And obviously the digital membership card is quite big, especially for those clubs that are already using memberships. That will just be something that's appeared recently. You may or may not have noticed. So yeah, obviously as we build up to the start of next season, there's a lot of opportunity there for clubs to either use things like multiple bank accounts if that's not something that you've considered or availed of before as a function. And I guess people via the GMS self-help group, I'm never quite sure I like the name of that. It's a Facebook group, but that is what it is. Yeah, I mean, maybe that there's some sort of help and help getting the word out there, because there are these features available for people that might help them, especially if they're already using memberships. They might be able to use it more, and etc.
Matthew, one of the things that I did put on the chat is the RFU's gone through some phases of putting out a term which didn't quite work, and I'm just wondering if subscription is the right term. I did suggest brackets DD at the end of it, so people would understand, because they might think that their subscription is their subscription, whether it's whatever membership type it is. So that's the only thing that really worries me. Am I going to have to explain to a lot of people that if you want direct debit, you select the one that's subscription? I mean, in my club, I will actually write it in as direct debit payment, but as a membership scheme, but others may not.
Okay, I mean that's useful feedback. So.
Well, one thing just with that is you could potentially put that in the description underneath as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that gives them a bit more information. But yeah, that's a good bit of feedback.
But they've got to read it.
Cool. And well, another couple of points. I suppose we can bring this to a close. Appreciate. I think we're on 30 minutes, so we've been nice and succinct. And appreciate everybody's time in the evening. But we'll go through the chat and make sure if there are consistent threads of questions. We'll send an email around just to summarise the various points. Obviously, if you do want to get in touch with us after this, please feel free. We're more than welcome. We're more than happy to get, as Stephen mentioned, if there's any support setting up memberships, if anyone's interested in digital membership card, how that works, point of sale, anything like that, then get in touch and we can help.
I saw a few things, at least asking about exports. So really, exports from systems should be pretty straightforward. One thing, maybe two things that we probably need to think a way of coordinating to get an agreed answer back, but reporting and the dashboards. So the information you need off the dashboards, what makes most sense, and also membership reports. So getting the information you need as a report. I think finding a way for us to coordinate that. So we know what is wanted by the majority of clubs would be a huge benefit. So if anyone's got any things they want to feed back in that way, I think it would be useful for us to collate.
How would you like us to feed that stuff back? What's the easiest way to do it for you guys?
I think with the numbers on this chat, I think it's okay if you can just feed back into Dan. How are you going to follow up with everybody on here?
We will follow up with comms and answers just to the emails provided.
Okay,
so we'll send an email out to you with. Okay, so if you can respond to that, and then we'll try and collate that back, and we can always then push out what we've had back. We'll see what the common themes are.
Okay. On that note, I suppose should we bring the session to a close? Thanks again to everybody, and all the best with your GMS funds building up to the start of the season. We look forward to getting in touch with you guys again soon.
Well, thank you very much.
Got to plug in for the GMS trainers there, Dave, didn't I?
Sorry?
Got to plug in for the GMS trainers.
Well, I tried hard.
Well, we do love the GMS
today,
trainers.
So, yeah.
We thank you for your service.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.